Hey everybody, this is Dwayne Ferguson, and today we're going to talk about how to ink comic books. Now, inking is simply the art of taking pencil artwork and adding some kind of dark line through using a brush and ink, or using a marker, or using something like Adobe Illustrator, which is what I use to ink. So, before we do that, I want to show you that I am using the Corona SDK to create comic books, and my books are actually on the App Store, which is awesome. So the good news is Corona makes putting your comic book together easy. The bad news is creating the artwork takes some time, and you might not know exactly all the steps entailed. So that's where I come in. As you can see, here are some of the pages here. All right, enough of the preview. All right, now let's get to the actual lesson. I'm going to open up my layers here in Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to show you what the sketch looked like before I started to ink it. All right, so this is the leader of the Hamster Vice team. This is Hammy. His code name is Rebel1, and he's pretty hardcore. He's awesome. So you slowly but surely start to build up your comic book as you work in a digital format. Now, if you want to work in a traditional format, as in paper, a brush, and ink, I recommend using an ink called Higgins Black Magic. This ink is so dark, light can't even escape. I'm talking it's awesome. I also used to use a Sable number 2 brush, I believe, and that was a long time ago when I used to use traditional media. But now I use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop to do my inking. Now you might be wondering why. Because of undo. When you have actual ink and you mess up, it takes forever to get rid of that ink. But I can undo very easily in a digital format. Also, something I suggest that you guys get is a digital tablet of some sort. I use a Wacom Intuos 4. So I'm going to, let's open up my Firefox here. And I'm going to create a brand new page in just a moment. I use this one here, the medium size, and you draw on this tablet using a stylus. The reason I suggest this is so that you can get that thick and thin line that comic books are famous for. Now you don't have to, of course, get this if you don't want to. There's also a less expensive line called the Bamboo, and I believe these start at about $99 or so. You can get the same kind of results. All right, so I'm going to head on back to Illustrator, and I'm going to hide all the work I did, and I'm going to show you that on this sketch, when you bring artwork in, you're going to go to File, and you're going to choose Place. When you place the artwork, you can position it on your page, and then once you have it on a layer, you can double click on that layer, and you can click right here where it says Template. This will give you the ability to dim that sketch by a percentage. So I can say dim to 30%, for example, hit OK, and the artwork gets a little lighter. Then I create a brand new layer in my layers palette or panel, and I can start to ink. I'll double click on this and I'll call it Inks. And I can also change that color for the layer itself, blue, or whatever you want to change it to. I'm going to go ahead and lock every other layer so I don't mess up. And I'm going to grab this guy right here. This is called the Blob brush, and it's awesome. I can take this brush and I can paint with it to create my lines. So I'm going to go ahead and change the stroke color to black. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a stroke like so. As you can see, nice and neat because it's a digital format and it's an Illustrator. Also, with this brush, I can press very lightly and press harder, lightly, and harder to get that thin and thick stroke that the digital tablet will give you. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this line, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit to start inking some of the character. Let's go over here to his arm. He's very muscular for a hamster. Don't let him punch you, people. It will hurt. Okay, so I'm going to start right about here. And with thick and thin, what you want to do is emphasize the meaty areas, like the muscle, where things bulge. So it should be light around here, a light press, and then thick right here. So let me go ahead and change my color back to black so we can actually see that. Okay, so we're going to start light, press hard, light, and then you go the same way over here. So light right here, press a little harder, and you do trail off and get lighter. As you can see, you get that nice emphasis. Now, of course, I wouldn't make the line quite this thick, but you get the idea. So you go light, hard, and so on. And then you can quickly go over your lines and close them. The blob brush is a great tool because it automatically closes the lines for you. So if I were to do something like this shape cannot be colored in with another tool. We'll talk about coloring in another lesson, but for now we're just talking about inking. So let me show you how to fake this effect just in case you don't have a Wacom tablet or the like. What we can do instead is we can use the pen tool if you want to. So you can grab the pen tool and you can drag, click, drag, and you can click to close that shape, and then you can go ahead and follow the shape of your artwork, and then you can grab your white arrow called the direct selection tool, and then you can click on the edge like so, and you can grab one of these handles and make that part thicker. And you can grab over here and you can make this part thinner. So you can still get that same effect. There's all kinds of ways to pretty much cheat the system, as it were. Okay guys, one last tip regarding the blob brush. How about really getting a lot of control with the tool? So when you press lightly, you get a very thin line, and when you press hard, you get an extremely thick line. Well, double click on the blob brush tool, and then change your size here. So as you can see, I have a 1-point brush, and I can have a variation of 1 point. But if I want to have, let's say, a variation of 3 points, I can change this variation here to 3 as well, and the pressure means that I'm using my pressure from my hand on the tablet to change this variation. So I will go from 1 point to 3 points in thickness. I know it sounds crazy, but it makes more sense when I show you. So I'm going to press very lightly. That's 1 point. Now press harder, 3 points. Lightly, hard. So I can really get a nice line. And that's how you can control the blob brush. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's lesson on how to ink comic books. More fun stuff coming soon. I want to thank the folks at Ansca Mobile for allowing me to bring these tutorials to you. Don't forget to visit my website. Let me go cue that up real fast, because sometimes I don't even remember. diehardstudio.com. We likes danger. And as you can see, here are some of the apps made with Corona. So I'm using it for my work, and I highly encourage you guys to do the same. So I will talk to you next time. Take care.